If I was an online coach, service, or consultant and I wanted to make my first $1 million, this is exactly what I would do. This is the exact lead generation system I would follow to sign clients, sign customers, and actually be able to grow. Now, who am I? My name is Kieran, and I own Customers on Command. And with Customers on Command, we help coaches and services in a variety of industries scale and fix their acquisition constraints. Now, I've also done this in my previous businesses where I've helped other companies scale. With one of our biggest clients, he got to $2.2 million a month, various others who scaled past $1 million a month, and many, many others who got to their first 7 figures. Now, the way we do this is I've basically distilled it down to the same process that we have followed for each and every single one of these clients. And in this video, I'm going to share it in 3 very simple steps so you know exactly what to do and how to get started and just to get past all the fluff online. Because honestly, there's so many things you can do, but you shouldn't do all of them. And you should keep it super simple if you're looking to make your first $1 million, because it really is simple. And all it comes down to is having a consistent acquisition system, having a good way of selling, and also having a scalable fulfillment model. And while I'm not going to talk about the scalable fulfillment model in this video, I'm going to focus on acquisition and simply sales and marketing. I'm going to break that down. I'm actually going to break it down live with a client that we have right now who we're implementing this for, who's an online coach who is starting his business almost from scratch. I think he was doing probably about maybe 250 to 500K a year, so not from scratch, but he was starting to scale it up from scratch. That what got him there was just doing organic marketing and working with clients here and there. But I'm going to show you exactly how we're actively scaling him inside his ad account and actively helping him close deals so he can grow. So I'm going to go over to my laptop and screen share exactly what we're doing for him. I'm going to break down all the key components that we've done for him as well, and just generally what we do for our clients and what you need to do in order to grow. Before I do that though, just as a preface, what I'm going to preach here is paid advertising, because for me, it's the best way for any online coach, service, or consultant to grow. You can do organic marketing, and I think that is great to do, definitely alongside paid media, but ultimately you're always going to be handicapped by the consistency and the input kind of output machine you have in being able to land clients, land customers, and yeah, you're just going to be very inconsistent if you're only relying on organic marketing. I've had friends who have grown to 7 figures with organic marketing. The key is though, they've never stayed at 7 figures. So what I'm talking about in this video is actually how you can build a machine so you can not only get to 7 figures, but stay there year in, year out, and even grow above there. And paid advertising, paid media, while it does have a startup cost and it costs money to get started, it is by far the best way to get started, because you can just put in a little bit of money. Like for this client, you're going to see we're not spending much at all, but he's still able to fill up his calendar. He's still able to fill up his pipeline full of qualified leads that he wants to work with, and he's able to close them. So it's a limiting belief to say you need a lot of money to get started. You really don't. And paid advertising, it just takes a lot of off your plate. I know people who are in a content or in a organic marketing trap where they're having to constantly put stuff out to make money. That's where I was before. I was having to post a lot of content, and now I just post content for fun because I like it, but I have my business running in the background and spending money on ads and getting prospects. So that's probably what you want. You probably don't want to become a content slave. You probably just want to fulfill for your customers. So I'm going to explain exactly how to do that in this video. So let's go over to the laptop. I'm going to break down exactly what we're doing for this client. I am going to have to censor and hide some information for the client's privacy, but you're going to see really behind the scenes of what we're doing and how the sales calls look as well and everything like that. So let's dive right in. Okay, so I am actively in a client's ad account right now. Obviously, I'm going to censor a bunch of information because I don't want to share their private information about their business, but I'm going to show the kind of results that we get working with this client. And we do Facebook advertising because Facebook advertising is the easiest to get up. It's the easiest to test actually demand, so test proof of concept with your market. I like it the most because it's just by far the easiest to test, like I said. So as you can see inside of this ad account, this is for a coach, one of our clients who runs a coaching program, and essentially he teaches aspiring speakers how to make money getting speaking gigs. So let me just show you some of the most important things that come to creating, winning ads and how simple it can be. You know how simple it can be if you're just getting started, or if you're making some money and you want to test with paid advertising. You don't need crazy edits, you don't need fancy designs. Like really, when it comes to ads, it's all about the messaging with your market. So actually, let's go on this winning ad set for this client. Let's find a winning. Okay, this one's booked 88 calls in the just in October actually. And how much is this spent? This is spent $1,000. So 88 calls, which by the way, with this client, I'll show you in a moment, those 88 calls, the vast majority of them are qualified, because what we have is we have a system in place to where we can automatically qualify and disqualify prospects. So let me just open up this particular ad and let's have a look at what we did to create this winning ad. So the first thing we do is we have the copy. So as you can see right here, we call out the target market right away. We're calling out who we want to serve, who we want to work with. Now, this is very specific to the industry. This client doesn't have, he doesn't need to have as many qualifiers. But if you have a business that you run where you have a very specific top of market that you want to work with, then you want to be very specific here. You want to really call out specifically who you want. So for me, my top of market, what's considered my top of market, is online coaches, services, and consultants who are doing $100,000 a month. That's the market where I know I can crush it for them, and we can help scale them to $1 million a month. So what happens is when you go after top of market, you will get people in the middle of the market as well, who are a little bit more lower. So what we say in our ads and what we say in the ads in particular is we say above 35K a month, because we can still work with people in the middle of the market. Obviously, we can't work with people at the bottom market, but we can work in the middle of the market, and then ideally we get top of market as well from there. With this client, it's a little bit different because he's ultimately helping people pretty much go from zero or go from a point where they have a skill set, and he's helping them monetize that skill set. Now, this is very simple copy. What we typically like to do with most clients is we like to test different pieces of copy in the actual ads. So we usually will test up to 3, maybe 5, and especially what we'll do is we'll usually within here, we will test social proof. We're going to add as much social proof as possible. I'm not sure exactly why we didn't do it for this client. I'd have to check with the team. But for most of the clients, what we'll do is we'll pop in social proof throughout here. And, we'll say Jared went from 0 to making $10,000 a month with a speaking opportunity, X, Y, and Z. So we'll really highlight the transformation in the copy. If you're having an issue in your ads with how qualified you're getting, the quality of your actual prospects you're getting, I found the copy has a massive impact on that, and you can just really adjust and assess the quality based on the copy in your ads. So the next thing is going to obviously be the creative. So I'm going to play the creative or just show you live. You won't be able to hear it, but you're going to be able to see the creative live, and you'll see how simple it is. So what happens is this client, he walks through very specifically, he's in a hotel. So what he's talking about in this ad is he's talking about how he is in a hotel and how he is able to get amazing speaking opportunities through being and staying in 5-star hotels through speaking. He speaks on stage multiple times a year, and he is able to stay in very nice hotels, and he's able to speak around the world even at any time. One thing we did highlight was actually during 2020, the pandemic, he was still getting speaking gigs. And this ad we scripted the framework for him being in the hotel. But what this client did was he just picked up the phone, and he didn't have a script. He just highlighted he called out the market, he called out how he was staying in a 5-star hotel, and how he had his opportunity to help you become a speaker. It was very, very simple. It's a 41-second ad. He shot it on the phone. We had no editing. And this ad has booked 88 calls so far in October, and as of today, it's October the 26th. So you can start to see how simple it can be. Because we found and we tested loads of ads. For this client, we've tested probably 100 creatives at this point. We were able to find the winning creative, and we were able to find the winning piece of copy that crushes for his market. And then all we did was we tested different variations. So he was flying out to a 5-star hotel. I think it was the Hilton Hotel in, so I can't remember where it was. But anyway, he was staying in this really nice hotel, and we were like, Greg, which is the client's name. When you're in the lobby, make sure you shoot an ad, basically just talking about the fact that you're in a 5-star hotel and you did this through speaking and you have these speaking opportunities and you're able to travel the world or travel the United States through these speaking opportunities, and you want to help other people do it too. And he spinned up this ad and he was creative with it. He just went from top of mind and he just riffed the ad and he put it out there. And that one ad that he took 41 seconds to shoot, he booked 88 calls, right? So you can start to see like how simple it can be. It's all down to messaging and it's all down to calling out your target and making sure you're talking to a qualified customer and obviously speaking to the outcome that they want, which is they want to be able to travel and they want to be able to stay in hotels and have amazing speaking opportunities. And this is exactly what he highlighted here. You can see right in the back, there's a nice hotel he's staying in, and that was all done just through knowing what does the market want and highlighting that in the creative. So this is just one example of a creative that crushed for a client. Now what happens is when they click the button, they actually go to a landing page like this. So what we'd like to do is keep it extremely simple. And there's so many different ways you can test a VSL, which is a video sales letter, and so many different ways you can test a funnel. For us, and what we love to do and what I highly recommend you do, is just do a simple call funnel. Because all you need to do as a coach is you just need to get on calls with your target market, especially when you're at the beginning. And you can hop on those calls, you can talk to your top target market, you can start to understand what they're looking for. By the way, this ad was scripted after the client had taken 15 to 20 sales calls and he started to have a great pulse on what does the market actually want, and am I assuming what they want or do I actually know what they want? And we were able to create and reverse engineer a winning ad based on the sales calls that he had with his target market. Now, based on that, we could then spin up and really make it congruent throughout the funnel, and we had a VSL here. Now, here's where it gets good. So, one thing I'll just say before is if you have a small sales team or you have a big sales team, what you can do is you can implement something called a Facebook lead form, which we haven't done for this client because in his particular case, he didn't need one. But you can see, you can add a Facebook lead form where you can start to get people opting in, even if they don't book. For this client, he doesn't need it because he's getting a ridiculous amount of calls booked for little money. Like literally, he spent $1,000 on this creative so far in October, and he's booked 88 calls. And then we have a filter in which we can filter out who is qualified and who isn't. So you can keep it really simple. If you want to have a Facebook lead form, you can add that on the ad set level and you can go to lead forms. And then on the form, you can have a bit more of a qualifier. And what happens is you don't get charged for the lead. You don't get charged for the lead from Facebook unless they actually are qualified in the logical form and they make it through to your landing page right here. So that's what we like to do. But ultimately, you don't have to have one. For this client, what we do instead is we keep it really simple. So what happens is, let me go back from here. So we have something called a Typeform, and a Typeform application, what we love about it is you can directly integrate it with Calendly. So you'll see in a moment how smooth the step is to book. But what we do is we have obviously your first name, we then ask for your email address, we ask for a phone number, and then we ask, how many presentations have you done? That helps us dictate where is this person. Are they completely unqualified because they've done none and they don't have any experience? Or have they done maybe like 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 plus, and they're looking to get more? Because that's the kind of person we're looking to help. Then we talk about what topic we'll be discussing. And during these points, what happens is if they say answer none, what they're going to do is they're going to get redirected to a downsell page. Now, a downsell page is, we don't literally have an offer. You can have like a downsell, maybe cost $27, $47. I don't really recommend it. I recommend not just having a link to, if you have a YouTube or if you have an organic content, and then you can get those people who are starting out from scratch if you have a qualifier in your market, and they can just start watching your content and consuming it, and then getting to the point where they can work with your high ticket. The reason is I don't recommend a downsell. It just adds more complexity to making your first million. You can make your first million setting a $10,000 offer through paid traffic exactly through the system I'm walking through right here. It's super simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it with all these different offers or low ticket funnels or anything like that. You can keep it really simple, and that's the easiest way to actually scale. Now, then what we do is we continue going through the form, continue answering some questions. if if they answer say below $2,000 here, they're going to get redirected to again the downsell page. They won't even see or have the option to book, and it does this automatically, right? And what this helps as well is with Conversions API and what we implement for our clients, our AI. It allows basically to have better data on who is, like it only fires back data to the Facebook Pixel and Conversions API based on who is qualified, and it completely alienates anyone who's not qualified. So your Facebook isn't getting that data, because what we want, and the great thing about Facebook is the more ads you run, the more money you put in, the more data you're building. And it's almost like you have this baby when you start, and it just grows in knowledge and wisdom as you run more ads, and then it can literally get you in front of your exact ideal target market like clockwork. And then what we do is we have the Calendly embed, like embedded into it, and they can just go through. They can, go and select a time, and their information's already saved. And usually, for this, we don't need to have this. I think, the client's probably going to remove it very soon. But usually, we'll literally just have first name, last name, email, and phone number, and that's it. Then they can just book on the calendar, and we can feel confident and know they're qualified. Now, you might be wondering, okay, so now I'm getting sales calls booked. I've got a winning ad. I've had a creative, and I have a lead form, or I don't have a lead form, and then I have a simple VSL. And you might ask, how do I script that VSL? Well, it's basically based on, that's something we implement for our clients, and that's going to be for another video in which I talk about. But it can literally be a very simple video talking through, what you've done, the hook, the results you've had, the 3 pillars of the transformation you sell, and then direct CTA. In the direct CTA, both in the ads and the VSL, you want to be super direct about basically exactly about the fact that they need to book a call. Don't say book a free consultation, because you're going to get lower quality prospects and lower intent prospects. You want to be very direct, and you want to say apply to work with me today, or schedule a call to discover more today. Very direct, don't hide anything, keep it super simple. Now, what I'm going to talk about now, and I'm going to move over to my whiteboard, is I'm just going to talk about the 3 pillars of how to do the sales calls. Because obviously you're going to get people booking calls. We want to make sure they show up, and we want to make sure you can actually close them. And I'm going to distill very simply how you can do that. So let's move over to the whiteboard. Okay, so now say you've got the sales calls booked, what we need to do is make sure that they show up. So showing up is super important, because what can happen is you get loads of sales calls booked, and they actually just don't show up on the phone. And they're not. People think, just because they booked a call, they're going to show up. That's not the case. So with the show up process, there's really 3 things it comes down to. So number 1 is going to be the thank you page. So the thank you page really needs to reflect selling them on continuing to show up. It really needs to continue to push them to actually show up on the call. And the way you do that is by explaining what's going to be covered on the call specifically, your social proof of what you've done and who you've helped, etc. And then even just more social proof on the thank you page. Just really as much social proof as possible, because that's going to help them show up. The next thing is going to be emails. So what we like to do is we like to send anywhere from 7 to 14 emails in a 48 to 72 hour window to the person booking a call. And basically how you can write those emails is simply you overcoming objections that the prospect typically will have. So, if it's, say, for example, the speaking coach we have, but I don't have, how am I going to, find the time to do all this traveling? We would have an email overcoming that objection. And then what that helps with is that typically around 50 to 70% of people will read those emails before they come to the sales call. And then they would have consumed all that information. So then by the time they come to the sales call, they won't have that objection. Third thing is going to be a manual process. So here's kind of what we do. So we have either as the business owner, or really if you're somewhat established, then you want to have a setter or sales rep do this. They're going to be calling the prospect and making sure, as soon as they book, making sure that they're confirmed on the calendar, making sure they're going to show up, sending any pre-call information that might help warm them up and take them from a cold lead to a warmer lead by the time they get to your sales call. And also just confirming them and making sure they're going to show up. What we do is, setter calls the prospect within the first 3 to 5 minutes of them booking, confirms them on the calendar. If they don't pick up, the setter will call them from iMessage, they'll call them on WhatsApp instead. Double dial. The reason why you want to double dial is a lot of the time people have their phone on Do Not Disturb, so you want to call them again to make sure they're going to show up. If that doesn't happen, they send an email and a text message to the prospect to make sure they're going to show up. And if the prospect doesn't, if you don't hear back from the prospect and you're booking over 3 to 5 calls a day, well, then the seller is going to cancel them so you don't waste time talking to people who are likely to no-show. Because if they don't respond back in any way, shape, or form after they book a sales call, it's very, like we found, it's very unlikely for them to show. So you want to make sure that your show rate's optimized too. That's something to worry about less when you're just launching and you're launching ads, but it's something to think about as you start to book a lot of sales calls like this client was right there. Now on the sales call, what we really focus on is 3 pillars. So it's going to be discovery. So discovery is really like diving into the specific situation of your prospect. So what have they tried so far? Why hasn't it worked? What are they looking to change? Why haven't they changed it already? Why, like, if, for example, if they continue to do the same thing, what will happen? Like, if they continue doing the same thing, going down the same route, really diving into that to get clear pain and goal from the prospect. Then what that allows you to do is go into your pitch, where you have a 5 to 10 minute pitch, really just breaking down exactly what you do. But when you break down what you do, you can tailor it back because you did enough discovery. You can make it a more so like custom solution for them and really tailor it back to their specific situation and their specific point. So with this speaking coach, for example, what we really focus on with him is understanding the discovery. Like, what have they tried? How many speaking gigs have they had? How's it gone? Like, how much money they made from speaking? What are they currently doing? Is it their full-time gig? Are they looking to do something else? Like, do they even want to pursue speaking? By making, X amount from speaking, what will that allow to them to change in their life? Will they be able to do anything differently, maybe outside of business, like impact their family, etc.? All of this, so then when we go into the pitch, we can tailor it all the way back to what we found in the discovery. And then obviously you have objections and smoke screens, which obviously your prospect's always going to throw objections and smoke screens at you. And you just got to learn how to overcome them. And I discussed this in other videos. So if you want to discover more, go on my channel. You'll see the videos where I talk about this stuff. But that is the sales process and what we focus on within the sales process. And then when you're able to sign clients, we aim to close at least 25% on the sales calls. So we aim to close at least 25% of people who show up to the sales calls, you make an offer to, and they close, right? What that then allows us to do is be really profitable from paid traffic. Like, this client's crushing. Like, he spent $1,000 this month. I need to check with the team what he's doing, but my guess is he's already 10x that, at least, maybe 20x that, just from like $1,000 in spend. We're not talking about a lot of money. And from there, he has a scalable model, a scalable coaching model, where there's aspects of it which is done for you. Like, he helps design like their done for them. He helps design their speaking like page, like their blog, etc., so they can look good and they have status. And the rest of it's coaching to actually help them get those speaking gigs and speaking opportunities. Because what we found is in paid traffic is even if you are a coach or if you're a service, really focusing on what you do for them done for you is like performs way better through paid traffic, and it does really well because the done for you part, like, people love done for you things. And then it can be a hybrid model where you have done for you parts and then the back end can be done with you, where you're actually working with them. So what I mean by that is, I mean that in the marketing, there might be a specific thing for your clients which you can actually do done for you completely. And from there, you can focus on that in the marketing. That can be the main marketing message, that you're going to help them do this completely done for you. And then the rest of it can be a more done with you system, where you actually where you just support them and you help them, and that's more scalable because you're not capped obviously by time doing all the done for you stuff for them. Like, for example, the speaking coach wouldn't be able to do like help them get gigs done for you. Like, he can do aspects of it, like helping design their resume, etc., but the rest of it is going to need to be obviously on the client. And yeah, that basically breaks down the process of how, very, very simply, how we do lead generation for our clients and how you can do it as a coach, service, or consultant. If I was starting out and if any of my clients, I advise them to do this, and obviously this is just on a core level, there's some nuances, but this is it very simply, and this is the way you can build a consistent acquisition system. You can have consistent prospects, consistent customers coming in. You're not like handicapped by needing to post content all the time and try and put yourself out there. It's consistent, it's scalable, and all you need to really master is just making some good ads, having some good ads that book consistent calls, and also having a good sales process which we can help you build out. But then also I have videos online where you can learn how to do that, and there's plenty of good resources online for that too. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then definitely subscribe for more. I've got more content coming, and I will see you in the next one.